here's the thing. I get it. I understand what you're being told, that this judge somehow reigns supreme and can demand from Donald Trump whatever he wants. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. Bill posted something on X a minute ago. He said, well, Stigall, as much as I hate it, in 74, SCOTUS did demand Nixon hand over his tapes. Well, yeah, but that's an entirely different matter. That wasn't you're talking about something, related to a potential criminal act by a president. That was what they were weighing then. There was an investigation into the literal Oval Office. There's no implication here that the president is doing anything illegal. He's ridding the country of the most violent criminals on the map. People that have invaded the country that are here illegally. There's no question that he has full authority to do it. Nobody can legally question that. It doesn't even make sense. There's no legal argument that holds up that says he doesn't have the legal ability to do so. And then, when you're talking about whatever the intel may be surrounding that, do you just hand over intelligence to judges? I don't know. Maybe you have to. I'm not saying I know for a fact that you don't have to hand stuff over to him, but I'm saying this is not Watergate. And look, ultimately, you're right. The Supreme Court did make that decision. If this Supreme Court is going to make the same decision, then by golly, I think they should get off their keisters and make it right now. I don't think we should wait around for the ordinary rules of order to play out and people have to appeal and we have to wait for months for the high-minded Supreme Court to get around to it. I think John Roberts should get off his ass and explain to the American people why this little twerp has the authority to stop our president and our Department of Homeland Security from deporting violent drug gangs. I want somebody to explain that to me. And if it takes our august Supreme Court to do it, then bring it on. Let's go. Let's talk. Come on. I expect these jackasses in black robes to keep up. Keep up with the American people. We have a country to save. We're in trouble. Get off of your academic asses and explain to the public why we owe you an explanation that our country that's under attack, our children and our women that are under attack, fentanyl that is pouring across our border, women that are being raped, whole complexes and cities being taken over by criminal gangs. I want you to explain to me why these academic jackasses in black robes get to ride in on their little horse and proclaim that they're king, and they demand to know what Donald Trump is up to. And they don't much like it. And they want him to reverse course and bring home all the bad guys until they can review it. Okay, let's hear it then. Make your case. And as for the Supreme Court, I would expect that John Roberts and the rest of them come in and say, once and for all right, is Donald Trump the guy that we elected to run the country, or is Judge Bagabones the president? And I missed it. I've been reading all the smart guys who say, oh, Donald Trump is really overstepping his authority here in taking away security clearances for Perkins Coie Law Firm. I read that recently from a friend at National Review. The Cologne Cufflink National Review. The smart take over at National Review is Donald Trump has absolutely no authority to start taking away security clearances right and left. That's just wrong-headed. That's an abuse of the executive branch, blah, 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 they say. And you know why they say that? You know what the conclusion is? Ed, why do they say that? What is it they say, the smart Cologne and Cufflink types, what do they say? Donald Trump should not use his executive authority to punish people and take away their security clearances because, why? It's the argument they've always made. Because he won an election, right?
Yes.
He won.
Yes.
And because he won in a commanding way, that's justice. That's what I keep hearing from the smart set on our side. It's justice. He won. So there's nothing more to say. You don't need to prosecute criminals. You don't need to bring anybody up on charges. He won. There's nothing more to talk about, says the smart brass button set on our side. Okay. So I would hope that the brass button set at National Review would come out today and say, hey, Judge Bagabones, Donald Trump won. Provide for the common defense is the chief task of every government official in this country. That's what they swear to do. That's the first line in the document. Provide for the common defense. Donald Trump is doing that by exporting Tren de Aragua. And Judge Bagabones comes in and says, not until I get to review it. I want you to bring all of them back. And I get to say whether they get deported or not. I beg your pardon? Who's president here?
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.